Okay, team, let's rewind. Here's what's been happening on Ghostwriter. The facts. First, Ghostwriter left the team to go help someone. He's been gone for 2 weeks and the team is worried.
You need to find out where our Ghostwriter is and get him to come back. We need him.
What the team doesn't know is that Ghostwriter is with a boy named Frank. Frank is scared because he's been accused of stealing a silver tea set from his foster family, the Cannellans. Frank says he's innocent, but only one family member, Catherine, believes Frank's not the thief. Mrs. O'Boyle, the Cannellans' housekeeper, and Lucy, Catherine's sister, don't like Frank. They think Frank stole the tea set and want Dr. Cannellan to send him to the home for wayward boys. But Ghostwriter wants to help prove that Frank is not the thief, so he asks the team to help him. But the team doesn't know who or where Frank and Catherine are. Things get even more confusing when Ghostwriter tells the team that Frank and Catherine are in Jamal's room. The team asks Ghostwriter to read words near Frank and Catherine to use as clues to find out where they are. They put the clues together and figure out that all of them are connected to the year 1928. Then,
maybe Frank and Catherine lived in this house in 1928.
That's impossible. Unless...
Ghostwriter could travel back through time!
And traveling through time is making Ghostwriter weak.
Why is he blinking on and off like that?
Maybe he's tired.
Will Ghostwriter be okay? And why did he travel back in time to the year 1928? Get a pencil in your casebook out and keep track of the clues, because the Ghostwriter team is on the case.
And look at the way he's blinking. He hardly has enough energy to stay on the screen.
I'll tell him what's been going on. 1928. That show was a long, long time ago.
And my parents weren't even born yet.
Neither was my grandma.
Can you imagine no CDs, no cassettes?
No TVs, no video games.
No us.
Now that's a scary thought.
I wonder what's so important that Ghostwriter has to travel back through time to help kids who lived in this house 65 years ago. Guys, Ghostwriter!
Astounding. No wonder I'm so tired. Poor Ghostwriter.
Ghostwriter told me that Frank was being accused of stealing a silver tea set, but he's innocent. Now I don't see why it's important enough for Ghostwriter to go back in time.
Ask him, Gabby.
Helping Frank will save our team? How?
He doesn't know.
And this is our strangest case yet.
Thought you might be hungry. You know, everyone thought I was crazy for letting a boy move in with my family after I caught him robbing my house. But I knew that you were special, Frank. The way you fought to survive alone with no parents. The way you talked so passionately about wanting to become a doctor when you grew up. I wanted you to be part of this family. But we agreed that if you stole again, then you'd have to leave.
But I didn't swipe the tea set.
I wish I could believe you.
What if I could prove it to you? You still kick me out?
I wish you could prove it to me, Frank. If you could do that, then we could start again. But as it stands now, the tea set, bringing the police gazettes into the house, climbing in and out of windows, disrespecting Mrs. O'Boyle. I'm not so sure you really belong here.
What can we do to help Frank and Catherine?
Teach them how to solve a case.
Right. If we teach them how to solve cases, then they can prove that Frank is innocent.
I never thought about how we do what we do.
Jamal, it's late. Your friends have to go home now.
Okay, Grandma.
Man, it seems like we just got started.
Look, let's all meet back here first thing tomorrow morning. Try and figure out how we do the detective thing.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, take care.
See ya.
Get some rest, Ghostwriter.
Frank, wake up, it's morning.
Catherine, hi.
Where are all these letters from?
The last letters my mother got from my father. He used to write to her every day when he went away to find jobs. But when the letters stopped coming, we didn't know if he was dead or alive.
Sorry.
My mom got sadder and sadder. She had to work day and night in order to take care of us. That's why I think her heart got so sick, and she died. If we had the money to take her to a doctor, she might have still been alive. That's why I want to become a doctor.
You will become a doctor, Frank.
That's just a bunch of baloney, and you know it.
You can give up if you like, Frank Flynn, but I know you're innocent, and I'm gonna prove it.
How's that?
Ghostwriter wants to help us.
Has he come back yet?
No.
Well, then we're sunk.
Now that's a bunch of baloney. And if I have to, I'll find the thief by myself.
Where are you going?
I overheard Mrs. O'Boyle and the housekeeper from next door talking about other robberies in the neighborhood.
So?
So maybe the same thief who broke into the other houses robbed us too. So I'm going down to the library to see what I can find in last week's newspaper and the police gazettes. I'll be back as soon as I can.
Wait for me at the corner. I'm coming with you.
Frank, you know you're not supposed to leave the basement. You're just gonna get yourself in even more hot water.
Your father's throwing me out of my can anyway. So what have we got to lose? Now go!
Hi, Jamal. Your grandma said you would be down here. Wow. I've never been in your basement before. I love digging around in old junk. Not that I'm calling your stuff junk in a bad way. I mean in a good way.
Don't you ever come up for air?
Huh?
Never mind. I've been looking to see if I could find anything that belonged to Frank and Catherine. I mean, they used to live here, so you never know. And my grandmother never throws anything away, so...
Any luck?
Not yet.
Let's get to figuring out how to teach Frank and Catherine how to solve a case.
You know, I was looking through the Young Detective's Handbook. You know, the one I got at the book fair? And it seems to me that finding suspects is the most important thing.
Really? I think it's keeping track of the evidence. If you don't do that, how are you going to prove which one of the suspects is guilty?
Yeah, but we have to teach Frank and Catherine how to think like detectives. So you know how to write down clues that might not seem important, even if they don't know how they fit.
I don't think so.
I don't think that's it, Jamal.
Guys, I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but the book
You
says...
guys have to trust me on this one.
Hey, you guys, what are you arguing about? We write down all the stuff in the casebook, right?
Yeah.
Sure we do.
So?
Solving a case is like putting a jigsaw puzzle together. And the casebook is where we keep all the pieces.
Yeah. Go on.
So the most important thing we could teach Frank and Catherine is how to make a casebook. Because that's the best way to start piecing the puzzle.
Piece in the puzzle?
Organizing stuff, getting it together.
Hey, that's pretty neat.
Gotta hand it to you, Gabby. Teaching them about making a casebook makes a lot of sense.
I found something.
Spill it.
This newspaper's a week old. Listen. Silver birdcage flies the coop. Mrs. Judith Moreland has reported the theft of a valuable antique silver birdcage and 2 lovebirds. Police suspect that there may be a connection to 2 other recent robberies in Brooklyn. In each case, valuable items made of silver have been reported stolen. Police have no leads yet.
That means the police aren't doing any better than we are.
If we show this article to my father and Mrs. O'Boyle, they'll realize you're innocent.
Then they'll think I stole the silver birdcage and robbed the other houses, too. Especially Mrs. O'Boyle. She'll probably turn me into the police.
You're right. We can't take any chances. Here. Look for more articles about silver being stolen. Maybe the police have found more clues since this was written.
First, we have to explain why keeping a casebook is important.
Well, the casebook is where you keep track of the clues.
So you can see what information fits together and solve the mystery.
Then you write down all the suspects, evidence, and other stuff that might be important.
We can't just say it like that. We have to make these instructions as clear as we can, so they can make a casebook.
Yeah, we have to use words that let Frank and Catherine picture exactly what we mean.
First, they have to make a suspect list.
We don't just make a list, we make a separate page for each suspect. And the evidence against that suspect goes on the same page. Like where they were when the crime happened.
And all the reasons why you think they might have done it.
On another page, you have to keep track of all the other clues.
We have to explain what those other clues are.
That's like all the other important stuff that might be important, but doesn't fit anywhere else.
But these clues might be useful later on.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. If Frank and Catherine follow these instructions, they should be able to solve their case.
I sure hope so. Then Ghostwriter can come back to us for good.
He has a lot of words to carry. Hope he makes it.
Ghostwriter! He came back! Sorry.
This must be a message from Ghostwriter's friends.
How to solve a case. Make a case book to keep track of all the clues. Oh! Suspect, evidence, and other clues.
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna write all this down before Ghostwriter disappears again.
There, we've got it.
All right. Who's our first suspect?
Mrs. O'Boyle.
Mrs. O'Boyle? What kind of evidence we got against her?
Well, she was in the house when the tea set was stolen.
Yeah, but why would she want to steal it?
So she can frame me. You know, make it look like I stole the tea set so your father will kick me out of the house.
We got our first suspect.
Ha-cha-cha. I never believed that we could do this, but now I'm starting to feel like a real detective.
Ghostwriter's friends must be experts at solving cases.
I wonder why they didn't just come help us themselves.
Maybe they can't. Let's ask Ghostwriter to thank them for us.
Hey, we never did find out if Ghostwriter's friends were ghosts or not.
I must rest before I return to 1993.
What?
1993!
Ghostwriter's friends live in the future? That's impossible. I don't believe it.
But wait. If someone told us about Ghostwriter before we met him, we wouldn't believe that either, would we? But don't you see, Frank? Something wonderful is happening. For some reason, there are people in the future that want to help us. We should be grateful.
I guess you're right. But 1993, why, I'd be really, really old.
So would I, with lots and lots of gray hair.
And I bet you a walking cane.
At least.
boy, this is awfully strange.
And awfully exciting. So, who's our next suspect?
Lucy.
Lucy. But she's my sister.
But she was also in the house, and she also doesn't like me. So that would give her a good reason to want to frame me.
I guess you're right. I'll write her down.
Okay, we'll call you guys if anything happens. Bye.
Who was at the door?
Gabby and Lenny. They just left.
Well, Alex, would you like to stay for lunch?
Is the sky blue? Do birds sing? Is Sesame a street?
I take that as a yes.
We'll be down in the basement.
What is so fascinating about the basement all of a sudden?
Well, there's a lot of interesting old junk down there.
Old junk is right. I've been meaning to straighten out that basement for years. It's so nice of you boys to offer to do it for me. I'll call you as soon as lunch is ready.
Now we should interview our suspects to find out if they're guilty or have any other information.
But what about the other silver robberies you read about in the police gazette?
But we don't know who's behind those thefts.
But it might be important, so you better write it in the other clues section.
That's good thinking.
Ghostwriter's detective friends were right. This is a keen way to keep track of a case.
Other clues. Silver stolen from 3 houses in Brooklyn. Let's go home. You guys stay in the basement while I interview Mrs. O'Boyle and Lucy.
To find out if I was set up or not?
Yeah, but they also might lead us into more clues or suspects. Come on, let's go, Gumshoe.
I don't have gum on my shoe.
That's another word for detective. I learned it from reading the Police Gazette.
Gumshoe. I like that. Sounds kind of tough.
Hey, watch what you're doing, man.
I'm just trying to make everything nice and clean for Grandma Cece, that's all.
Jamal, your father's job just called. He's not feeling well. Wants me to drive over and pick him up.
What's wrong with him?
Oh, nothing serious. Probably just a toothache or something. Your lunch is on the table. I'll be back soon, okay?
Okay, bye.
All right, so who else was in the house before the silver was stolen?
Mr. Izzo, the coal man, made a delivery. He had to come through the house to get the key to the coal chute because Frank forgot to unlock it for him.
Alrighty, anybody else?
No, no one. Oh, but you're daft if you think Frank didn't steal it. There's no getting around the fact that he's a thief. A leopard can't change his stripes.
Leopards have spots. Zebras have stripes.
Well, whatever they have, they can't change them.
Why do you dislike Frank so much?
I grew up in the slums with hoodlums like him. When I was a wee girl, I saw a gang of street boys attack my father for a loaf of bread. He was hurt so bad he couldn't work anymore. My sisters and I had to leave school and get jobs so our family wouldn't be thrown out into the streets. Those thieving hoodlums ruined my life.
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm fine. I just get a bit misty when I think of what they did to my dear father.
What they did to your father, Mr. O'Boyle, was wrong. But Frank, he doesn't do those kinds of things.
Oh, so you say. Oh, darn that Millard Fillmore Smith. He's a liar and a cheat.
Who are you talking about?
Millard Fillmore Smith, the Ritter brush man. I bought this feather duster from him just yesterday.
Yesterday, what time?
Oh, just after I did the breakfast dishes.
I thought you said no one else was in the house.
Oh, well, it must have slipped my mind.
All right. Tell me everything that happened while he was here.
Millard Fillmore Smith sat right there on that sofa and promised me the feather duster would last a lifetime. Oh, and to think he was named after my favorite president.
So he was in the house right before the tea set was stolen. So he's a suspect.
Nonsense. He's a traveling salesman, not a common thief.
2 new suspects. I can't wait to report this to Frank. footprint.
What are you doing down here?
None of your beeswax.
It is my business. This is where I stay.
Not for long.
You want me to get kicked out, don't you?
Yes.
So that's why you stole the tea set and tried to blame it on me. So I get kicked out.
You can't blame that on me. I'm not a thief like you.
You'd do anything to get your way.
You better move before I call Mrs. O'Boyle and tell her you left the house when you weren't supposed to. I hope my father throws you out tonight.
What are you up to?
Nothing.
Huh. Well, where have you been all morning?
Oh, just playing.
Well, lunch will be late. I'm off to the butcher's, but I'll be back soon.
May I go with you?
Well, of course, Pat.
Bye, Catherine. Make sure Frank stays downstairs. Frank! Frank, come upstairs quick!
Where's Mrs. O'Boyle?
Don't worry, she and Lucy are gone, but look at this.
What is it?
It's a footprint, and it's made of coal dust. The coal man was here yesterday before he made his delivery.
So then he's a suspect.
Right. I wish we knew where he was. He's probably out robbing another house right now.
Maybe Ghostwriter can help us.
Yes, but how?
Well, he can fly around and read things. So then maybe he can find the coal truck by looking for that big old sign painted on it.
Yeah, but what's the sign say?
Izzo Brothers Ice and Coal.
All right, let's give it a try.
This is sure a swell joint. I bet you the home for wayward boys is real cold and ugly.
Stop worrying, Frank. We'll catch the thief. Ghostwriter will help us. We're making progress, look!
I hope this works.
So do I. Here. This is for you to wear. So you're always going to be ready to write down important things for the case.
Thanks, Catherine.
You're welcome, Gumshoe.
Oh, I caught Lucy snooping around downstairs.
Well, that could be evidence that we can use against her. Did you know that the Ritter Brushman was here yesterday?
No?
Yeah. He was here before the tea set was stolen, so I put him down on the suspects list.
Then we should go looking for him, too.
But if the coal man turns out to be the thief, we won't have to.
Ghostwriter!
Cobble Street and Grant Lane. That must be where the truck is.
That's not far from here.
Let's skedaddle.
Police Gazette. You know, I've seen these at the library. They're full of crime stories and other good junk.
I never heard of them.
Yeah, they were popular a long time ago.
How old is it?
This one was printed in 1928.
Hey, maybe it belonged to Frank and Catherine.
I bet it did.
Let's see what else we can find.
There he is. Why was he coming out of the front of the house? Coal chutes in the back.
Look at that sack he's carrying. Maybe he stole something else. You go home. I'm gonna get in the back of the wagon and keep an eye on him.
I'm no Chicken Little. I'm going with you.
You can't. It's too dangerous. I don't want anything to happen to you.
Listen, we're partners on this case, kiddo. I can do anything you can do. Come on. sack up front.
Why are you two kids following me?
Okay, team, let's rewind. Here's what's been happening on Ghostwriter. The facts. First, Ghostwriter left the team to go help someone. He's been gone for 2 weeks and the team is worried.
You need to find out where Ghostwriter is and get him to come back. We need him.
What the team doesn't know is that Ghostwriter is with a boy named Frank. Frank is scared because he's been accused of stealing a silver tea set from his foster family, the Cannellans. Frank says he's innocent, but only one family member, Catherine, believes Frank's not the thief. Mrs. O'Boyle, the Cannellans' housekeeper, and Lucy, Catherine's sister, don't like Frank. They think Frank stole the tea set and want Dr. Cannellan to send him to the home for wayward boys. But Ghostwriter wants to help prove that Frank is not the thief, so he asks the team to help him. But the team doesn't know who or where Frank and Catherine are. Things get even more confusing when Ghostwriter tells the team that Frank and Catherine are in Jamal's room. The team asks Ghostwriter to read words near Frank and Catherine to use as clues to find out where they are. They put the clues together and figure out that all of them are connected to the year 1928. Then,
Maybe Frank and Catherine lived in this house in 1928.
That's impossible. Unless...
Ghostwriter could travel back through time.
and traveling through time is making Ghostwriter weak.
Why is he blinking on and off like that?
Maybe he's tired.
Will Ghostwriter be okay? And why did he travel back in time to the year 1928? Get a pencil in your casebook out and keep track of the clues, because the Ghostwriter team is on the case.
And look at the way he's blinking. He hardly has enough energy to stay on the screen.
I'll tell him what's been going on.
1928. That show was a long, long time ago.
And my parents weren't even born yet.
Neither was my grandma.
Can you imagine? No CDs, no cassettes.
No TVs, no video games.
No, us.
Now that's a scary thought.
I wonder what's so important that Ghostwriter has to travel back through time to help kids who lived in this house 65 years ago.
Guys, Ghostwriter. Astounding. No wonder I'm so tired.